This video is going to go over some of the top problems that we've come to find on this generation Audi S4. Let's get into it. I want to make sure you stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to go over a problem that these vehicles are known to have. It could leave you stranded at the gas pump. Before we get to that, first let's talk about if you're driving down the road and you hear an odd creaking or a clunking noise coming from the front end of the vehicle, whether it's hitting bumps or maybe under hard acceleration. In either of these circumstances, you might find that your steering or suspension is shifting a little bit. Most of the suspension components are supposed to have rubber bushings holding them to either the subframe or to the body of the vehicle in some way. Now, if these bushings are dry rotted or cracked in any way, it's going to start creaking. If it's cracked to the point that it can shift, you're going to start hearing that odd clunking noise. This is a dangerous sound. Now, some great news about this is you can easily go to oneauto.com, order the parts you need, and we have fast and free shipping. Let's move along to other noises that you might hear coming from the front end. Now, on these vehicles, they also have an issue with the CV axle boots. Now, these are really just protective boots. They're supposed to make sure that no moisture or debris makes its way into the axle joint. If moisture or debris did make its way into that axle joint, typically you're going to start hearing an odd clicking noise when you're turning in one direction or the other. Now, you could, of course, just try to replace the boot. You're still going to have to remove the axle, disassemble the axle, remove the boot, clean all the grease, reapply grease, and put on a new boot. It takes a little bit of time. It's very messy. You're going to want hand and eye protection. Otherwise, you can just go to oneauto.com, order that axle. We'll ship it right out to you for easy replacement. Let's open this hood. Now, things are starting to heat up. This vehicle actually has an issue with overheating. Now, this could come down to either a coolant-related leak, or on these vehicles, it's actually common to have an issue with the thermostat itself. Now, your thermostat is responsible for regulating the circulation of the coolant throughout the entire cooling system, especially the engine itself. If the thermostat is stuck in the closed position, that's going to make it so the coolant cannot circulate throughout the entire system. It's not going to get through the radiator. If it can't go through the radiator, it's not going to cool down the coolant, and it can't cool down the engine. If you find you have an issue after the diagnosis, you're going to want to make sure that you replace that thermostat, make sure that you flush the coolant out of there, and use the manufacturer's specified coolant as well. Now let's shift into our next problem. Now, if you have one of these vehicles, you know that it has a lot of power. But did you know that it also could potentially have a shiftability problem? Now, this is known on automatic transmissions of these particular vehicles. If you have a manual transmission, you really don't have too much to worry about as far as this is concerned. Now, with this problem, you may find during hard accelerations or heavy accelerations, you have an odd shuddering feeling coming throughout the entire driveline of the vehicle. You might also find that your check engine light comes on the dash. You pull the code, it's telling you have an internal transmission problem, it needs to be thoroughly diagnosed. Now let's talk about the problem that could leave you stuck at the gas pump, whether the vehicle doesn't start or it does start after a long crank scenario. Now for this, either way, you're going to find you have a light that pops up on the dash, your check engine light. You go ahead and pull that code, it's going to tell you that there's an emissions related problem, it's located right under the hood here. We'll get to that in a second. Some of the other symptoms you might happen to find once the vehicle does start, you hear this odd tapping noise coming from the trunk of the vehicle. You could also find an issue with engine performance, whether it's idling or under acceleration. And then, of course, you also have the emissions aspect that you want to pay attention to as well. This all really stems down to one thing under the hood, which I mentioned, and that's your evap system purge valve. It's located right here, it's very simple to replace, and we've got it at oneauto.com.